Gibby, are you serious? Where are you today?
Well, I'm just down chilling at the pad in Cape Coral.
Must be rough.
Well, it's for the Masters, so it was a big weekend, big event.
That's great. We can't hear him.
Live from the Justin Livestream Network studios, Scrib and Gib.
That was perfect. Gibby's talking. We can't hear him. Gibby, how you doing?
I said good. We were down here for the Masters.
Well, you know, you being down there for the Masters. Darth Gibby, you're in part of this too, because we wanted to make sure we had somebody smart to talk to if Gibby went a little haywire.
It is pointless to resist, my son.
All right, well, hey, everyone, he's finally back. We finally corralled him.
Where in the world is
Travis
Gibson?
He's in Cape Coral at his palatial mansion, sitting back. Well, you were. And I've got pictures. The thing is massive.
It is massive, but it's nice.
Well, I mean, someday, Strand, someday
we'll get invited. It'll be fun.
You know what? It'll probably be easier if we just hop in the car because we can't afford plane tickets. We'll drive down there. We'll just drive around. We'll act like we're at his house.
Just put the seat back, play some music.
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably run into some strangers. They'll invite us in.
We'll also be at like the Motel 6 or something.
Yeah.
Well, here's the vital system stat of the day. Sun Country tickets are not that expensive, you knuckleheads.
You know,
so you get on there and look. You just, you can't pack a bunch of bags or they'll get you on that. But for the most part, they're really well priced, especially this time of year.
That's who Danny flew down. Her mom went down to Disney. That's who they flew with, Sun Country.
Yeah. Well, I mean, only on the bags, but
yeah,
it's not over the top. I think you could probably find a flight down here for anywhere between $180, $200.
Like this time of year,
towards May, towards May for sure.
Well, that's where. Well, that's where it'd make sense if we would get invited and go down and shoot on, on the spot down there. But again, you'd have to invite us.
You just make the goal, and
we'll join us or die, Master.
All right.
Yeah, let's see. Even Darth Gibby wants to join us.
So, do I have to buy a ticket for my friend back here? Or can he go in my bag?
You can just probably bring him on as a personal item.
Okay.
Put him under the seat. Call it good.
Well, technically, if Gibby's with, he could bring him as his child.
Well, alter ego or something. I don't know.
I mean, what do you think, though? This baby wears the jersey pretty good there, huh?
Good. Yeah, you guys do a nice job with that. Yeah, that's for sure. I got to give you a lot of props with that.
Well, it doesn't take much to fill in for you.
I was going to say, it doesn't take much to make it work. It's kind of a pain in the producer's butt.
Yeah, but we got it figured out, right? Well, hey, it's all honesty. It's good to see you. I know you've been gone for months, it seems like, or we haven't been in the same building for months.
That's for sure.
Don't worry, nobody's looking for you up here.
Okay.
But I'm glad you know where you are at this week compared to what was last time we shot. And you're like,
yeah, I know. When I was down in Salt Lake, I got the time zone messed up.
Yeah, it's a time thing.
I felt special that you were actually going to like land and come right to the studio to do a podcast and then go home.
See?
Yeah, that's all in, buddy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all in. Well, hey, we got some exciting stuff to talk about, though. We're going to talk again Tiger Sports. We will touch on the Masters since you were down in Florida watching the Masters. I caught the last couple holes at home. We had some softball yesterday. Boy, Rory tried to give it away.
Yes,
but yeah, I'm excited to talk some Tiger Sports. But let's actually start it with the Masters since you probably got it fresh in your mind, unless you were a little foggy the last couple of days. I don't know.
It's fresh. I mean, it was an amazing finish. I mean, I felt like, I did start to feel bad for Rory a little bit because I wanted him to win it. I mean, everything he stood for the game of golf in the last few years through all this crap, I think he kind of deserves it. And like you said, he tried to give it away and then pulled that. It was he had a heck of a drive, but his approach shot into 18 there was fantastic.
Yeah, on the playoff hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could tell. I mean, that's the thing. What was the putt that he missed? How long was it?
It was about a 4-footer.
Yeah, that's the thing that I struggle with golfing with guys like you. Those 5-footers, 6-footers are always gimmies, and I'm always like, I don't think so. Even the pros miss them. Just saying.
Hey, I would have won that without the extra holes. So, I mean, it just is what it is. But No, I mean the shot that Rory screwed up on. Yeah, everybody thinks about the putt, but it was his 125 an in shot there. So a second shot, when you miss the green off to the right there and put it in the bunker, I mean it's 125 yards. All you had to do is put it on a 2-putt and you walk away, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. They talked a lot about it on K-Fan this morning, actually, to be honest about that. Well,
that's your favorite show.
Well, it's not my favorite, but one of them. Yeah, it's a good show. But that was a key one. And then, when he dunked it in the water, too, it's like, the creek there, sometimes you just got to continue to play to win. Where, they kind of talked, and I didn't see that, so it'd kind of be interesting. They were kind of commenting at that point in time, they felt like he was starting to get into that play not to lose. And you actually talk a lot about that. So is that the vibe you got, that he was trying to play not to lose more, of going after it to win it?
Well, sometimes I think, especially golf, because it's such a mental game, more than physical, obviously. But I just think you start to play head games with yourself. I think you start to question whether or not, man, should I play to win? So should I hit this shot like I normally would hit this shot and stay aggressive, or do I play it back? And then I think sometimes if you hit the shot you normally play and it works out, you're amazing, right? But then if you lay off and then are you playing not to win? You're just trying not to lose. So I don't know. I think Rory got caught in the middle of that a little bit, I think.
Yeah, and with the point of Bryson DeChambeau kind of, tripping up himself,
Your
right?
lack of faith disturbing.
Yeah, well, I kind of agree. I mean, sometimes you just got to have the faith.
Yeah, you just got to get some faith in there.
It was pretty awesome, though, to see Bryson come out and Rory, and then it was, right away, the script got flipped right away, and Rory went down, and Bryson was pounding the ball, and it was going to be one of these heavyweight knockout matches, and everybody was ready for Rory to just go away again and choke in the final round, but he didn't, and Bryson obviously didn't play very well up to his standards, but
well, and
sometimes I feel playing that hard, eventually things might not go well for you. But if they're lining up like they did with the U.S. Open with him, he's tough to beat, man.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting, right? And then all the hubbub afterwards about, did you guys talk at all, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, well, obviously they're not the best of friends.
Right.
So.
Well, I won my Masters pool out of about 14 people on DraftKings.
You did?
Yeah. Now get this. I didn't have Rory or Rose, and I still won. I ended up with my top guy was DeChambeau.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he did well.
I bet you had
sorry. No, I had Reed and DeChambeau. I had Reed and DeChambeau in there. So that was my
third.
Yep, heavy hitters. DeChambeau took fifth, tied for fifth. And then I had Connors tied for eighth, and I had Jason Day tied for eighth.
Yeah.
So that was a fun little one with my cousins and stuff like that. Yeah. About 14 of us.
Obviously I think Patrick Reed, seeing him play well was fun. Scheffler, nobody really talked much about him. Man, dude, I don't know if you guys didn't watch much of it, but I believe it was after his second round. Man, he went to the driving range and he spent a lot of time on that. I think it was after his second round, and he was you could tell it was in his head pretty good, and he never really quite recovered for the rest of the weekend. I didn't feel.
Yeah, but he was still.
Yeah.
He still played good at the end of the day, and you can't win them all. And he's been on a heck of a streak. So,
but it's something about the Masters. There again, once again, it delivered this year, right? It seems like it always delivers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
No, it does. It's awesome. It's such an amazing place. And they say you don't really get a true appreciation for it unless you go there. And then because the undulation and just the different, it's incredible.
Oh, big word.
That's a dum-dum at home. We don't really recognize that, I don't think.
A big word for Gibby.
Yeah, he's probably been sitting on that for a couple of years, waiting to use it.
You want to say that word again?
Undulated?
Undulated.
Yeah.
Undulation. Congratulations to you too.
All right, well, that's the Masters roundup with the one and the only Mr. Travis Gibson.
The master from the Masters from the Master.
Yeah. Well, hey, we're going to get in and talk some Tiger sports, so we're going to let a lot of discussion here. We're going to lean all for softball. We're going to talk softball, baseball, track, little tennis, and a little girls soccer. And I'm going to turn it over to you to talk the girls softball. I know, obviously, Gracie, your daughter's on the team, and I believe she's been starting a fair amount. Yeah. So let's talk a little. I know they're technically, is it 3-2 right now?
But I think no.
They beat Grantsburg, Superior.
Oh yeah, if you want to
count them, right?
Yeah, they were scrimmages if you want to count those. But they started off. So they played River Falls last week, kind of their first home game or their Big Rivers Conference game. Split, lost. They won the home game. Not I don't want to say handily, but just kind of felt in control once they got their bats rolling. We're starting a freshman pitcher.
Yeah.
Go over to River Falls. And then again, starting in the other freshman pitcher. So you have Raleigh,
Lauren Raleigh,
the freshman starting at home. Once she calmed down, she did really well.
That's what I heard.
And then Kendall Furman, I thought she did, pretty good job. Again, freshman pitcher coming in, playing at River Falls. And then Kate Swanepoel came in after that. And the Tigers just kind of let that one slip through their fingers. Early season loss. I think Coach Knutson is just trying to figure a few things out. Rotation wise and just she has it kind of set, but it's early, right? So my own daughter's in a little slump, so she can't hit the ball, but she can catch it.
Well, I mean that's a part of the game,
right?
Catching.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then they went down to DC Everest on Saturday, and they found a really good pitcher that they went up against and lost.
I heard the strike zone was interesting.
Oh, it was all over the board. Gracie did. She got caught twice looking, and you as a dad, you get to pick on your daughter, right? But the one was at her chin.
That's what I heard. I ran
about her neck, and she just looked at it, watched it go by, and it was a strike, and she's like, "All right, well, that's." But you got to swing the bat too. You got to protect the plate. I'm always of that ilk, but again, I think once this team settles in, we have some good freshman girls that are, 2 freshman pitchers there that are playing really well. They're pretty good in the infield. And we just have a strong team. Just got to get our bats rolling. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've been seeing, too. I noticed pitching. Obviously, I checked in on that, because I knew Lauren was probably going to be the one of the number ones, right? Yeah. And then it's good to see Kendall. So, yeah, I mean, the thing is, let them freshmen, probably have a little bumps here early part of the season. And then as they start feeling good and everybody else starts getting, I think you're going to end up having a very good team again this year because, again, if Lauren and Kendall can put together some decent stats, which – early on, they're starting to throw strikes, and I mean you can see them striking people out. It's going to be a fun season. Then you got the bat, right? You can get some bats going.
In girls softball in high school, it's 7 innings. So the way I look at it is, if you're able to put 7 to 8 runs on the board with a pretty good pitcher, there's a good chance you're going to win.
Yeah, totally agree.
Like I say, they did just found like DC Everest on Saturday. What do we score? 1 run. But just got to get the bats rolling.
That's pretty special having 2 kids that young that can step up and play on the varsity level too. I mean, not only are they going to grow this year, but man, it's nice to have 2 horses in the stable for the next 4 years. That's awesome.
And I had to ask too, because I was looking at the senior posters were up on the bleachers, and I'm like, there's only 3 seniors on this team this year, and I was thinking there was 5, 6, but there's only 3. So, think of it that way. I mean, as a softball team that's carrying 14, 15 players, we're a young team.
Yeah, for sure. Crazy. I didn't know that. I know JJ Breyer and Ginger. Wow, that's all that's left. Huh.
Yep.
Jeez. That's kind of crazy. Well, it's good to them. I think you said a young team that I think has a lot of potential. They just got to continue to grow, right? And I think you said that too. Now, just be careful when you talk about some young horses in the stable. You don't know, Moose might get a little excited over there. I'm just saying. I mean, he still has the horse here. Don't worry.
So you're singing like a horse. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not. I'm
a little
just
bit younger, whatever. I get it.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. All right, well, I'll jump over. I'll kind of take the baseball here. The baseball team has started off 6-0. So, again, they had a tournament down in Adam Friendship. They won down there. They 10-run the teams on Friday, and they had a little tougher game on Saturday. Still won. Played some smaller teams, but obviously you got your starter, your number 1 is Aiden, then you come back with Nick Stalright. They're both throwing really well. Nick pitched against Altoona on Saturday up here. Thought he looked good. And it's all about the team, right? Top of the order is doing a pretty good job being led by Max Kredowicz. Gavin Terrace is on a tear right now.
I heard he was hitting the ball.
Well. He is hitting the ball well. So throughout the lineup, I always say Trent Fowkes, but Matthew Fowkes, the junior, is having a really good season too, starting off, hitting the ball well. Aiden's been hitting the ball well. So you have a senior-laden team Again, very similar to the Legion team that went to state last year. You got a lot of the same kids on it. It's a team that when they hit, it's going to be a tough team to beat. Again, with Aiden and Nick in there, I mean, you got some horses that can throw, and then Levi Olson's been pitching well. Truman Weiss pitched.
I was just going to ask, who's after that? I mean,
Truman Weiss has been pitching very well along with Levi. And then you got
Coach Knudsen told me he may have like 5 guys that throw in the 80s.
Yep. You got Jonathan Schubert pitching. Yeah. He's back from, he had a little, his arm wasn't feeling the best, but he pitched on Saturday, looked pretty good, throwing strong, I felt. I know I'd heard he'd hit 80-something when maybe Friday or Thursday at practice, Bennett was saying. So I think it's going to be fun to watch. Now, they start conference, right, in the Big Rivers. You got Cooper Jesperson, who I've been hearing, I don't know if he's going to pitch tomorrow or not. I mean, that's what we expected, but then I started hearing maybe he won't because I don't know if he's getting looks from MLB. Teams want him, and they don't want him to pitch. I don't know, but he tops out about 95. And then River Falls has Auden, I think his name is, and he's going to Nebraska, throws low 90s. So the Big Rivers has some studs that can throw. And then you got Jace Matazinski that I think can hit 90 already too as a junior. So, I mean, there's some pitching in this team. I mean, in this conference. So
I wonder what Gibby would look like taking a 95-mile-an-hour pitch down the strike zone. It'd be
probably like all of us. Whoop. Yeah, it looked good to me.
Swing it when it hits the catcher's glove.
It is incredible, though, having that many kids that are in the conference that can throw. I mean, I remember we had a couple kids that were in Unity that could really bring it. Fisher was
Troy.
Yeah, and I think they had another tall drink of water, too, played first base. Inceman, does that make sense?
Yep.
Those two.
Ince.
Mark?
Ince. Mark Ince, yep, I think that's what his name was. And, they were – I was a sophomore when those two were seniors, and boy, could they bring it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the thing about this conference. And then, most of it, there's always a number 2, right? I mean, you think about us, we got Aiden, the lefty, who had a really good season last year. Actually threw stellar all season, just didn't get the run support. And then you had Nick, and Nick was hit and miss, almost threw a no-hitter, but then just couldn't find it. And he found it later in the season, kind of more in Legion. And that's where I think if we get him going early on, I think he's pitching great right now. If we have that 1-2 punch, when it comes to playoffs, when it comes to those games, you need depth, right? And if everybody stays healthy, our pitching, we have depth. Now, they got to pitch, they got to show up, right? But we do have depth. And, I think what killed us a little bit last year at times was the errors. So far, knock on wood, the infield's been pretty good. I haven't seen a lot of errors. So I feel we're pretty sturdy, in the outfield, in the infield. I think we're going to have a pretty good team this year. It's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah. It's all getting the ball out too, right? Like I felt like that was a little bit of our Achilles heel in the past, didn't you think? I mean,
for sure.
It boils down to the good pitching too that we're facing. But man, if we can get some bats that can score some runs with some arms like that, that's going to be big.
Yeah, at the end of the day, though, you got to be able to hit, right? And I think you said it right, but, you can't say, wow, that's a good pitching. Well, every team's in the Big River has good pitching. At the end of the day, you're not going to find, last year you had Chip had a good pitcher too. Everybody's going to have somebody. It's just how, where's the depth? Can you extend the innings, right? Can you get into the pitch count, deep into the pitch count where they got to go to their number 2? Or do they got to go to the reliever who's probably not as good, where I feel we get into the later part of the innings, we get into the pitch count with our own guys. We have guys that can come in and throw. We got guys that we can throw innings. And is it the same as Aiden or Nick? No, but it's not very far off. And that just, it's enough of a curveball in there, right? Obviously you got Shuby with the big curveball. Levi's just more of a fastball guy, but he's been developing more pitches. You got Truman's got a little bit of a wrinkle to his. So I think we got enough. And I think, like you said, if we can just get the bats rolling.
Skills are complete.
Yeah, 100%.
Skills.
And I think that's what'll be exciting. Then is we don't step on our own feet, right? If we don't have the errors, I think we can be right in there for in the top 3 in the conference, which will be exciting. Definitely.
It all comes down to the back stretch, kind of like at City Lake Speedway, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Whoever's got the most arms and can finish it out. Because you're right. I mean, you start getting in the playoffs, and you chew through arms quick.
Well, you kind of stole my thunder there because you talked about Cedar Lake Speedway. How about the sprint to the finish brought to you by Cedar Lake Speedway? And I'm telling you what, the first big outdoor track meet in Hudson, the True Team one, well, I'm going to tell you, the Tigers showed up in force.
Yes.
I don't know if you've known or heard anything yet, Gibby. Have you heard anything?
No.
Well, unofficially, because I haven't seen it, but I've been told a school record was already broke in the first outdoor meet for this young man running. If it doesn't surprise you, his name is a Hepner.
Oh, no kidding.
And it's a freshman. Popped off the old 400. I've been told broke the school record again, unofficially is what I've been told, with a 49.76. First outdoor meet, got second. I told people last year he was fast. Watching him, at the 8th grade, at the junior high meets, he was running like a 53, 52, and I'm like, dude, he would be lower if he had somebody pushing him. This is a kid that was turning the corner last year with nobody around him.
Right.
But, we knew what he did during the summer, but I'm telling you, the guy went out and ran a 49.76. Wow. Right behind Ty Boscholt, the senior. So, his dad is an Richmond guy, right? Boscholt, I don't know if you know that. That's his kid, Ty. Ran a 49.63. So I'm not going to call it, but I might say I could see Hepner being the conference champion because I just think the upside for Ben is, this is a guy who ran second. I let the guy get a little more feel for the outdoor. I think he's going to be just fine, but just unreal. And then the thing about it is then you got Colton Gunter coming in at second with a 52.71. Hayden Baldock got eighth with 53.53. So, again, we got speed. But let's not be done there. Let's move on to the 100. All right, we know we got Tragan Tim last year was just flying. I didn't talk to him officially, but I talked to one of his teammates, said he didn't feel he had a good race, but he jumped out and ran a 11.32, got second behind Kale Belden from Memorial. So, Tragan ran under 11 last year, so I think that'll be coming around. But this is the one that just got me. 5th place. The guy who blew his knee out, his second knee out in football, Tavian Brandt, chalked in 5th place there at 11.54.
Wow.
6 months, Gibby. 6 months.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and then 6th place was Joe Hepner. 7th place was Austin Whittick. I mean, it's like, so in the top 7, we had technically 3 of the top 7, all of our running backs. And, Ben Hepner didn't run it. I don't know what he would have ran it, but it's just crazy. And then you go over to, and it's kind of funny, you go over to the 200, because this is what I kind of wanted to see who'd be out there. Ben Hepner runs a 22.88, so comes in second there behind the kid from Memorial again. So just the speed, and you had Austin Whittick running a 23.6, Parker Rohde with a 23.79, Hepner with a 23.81. So we got some guys that are fast. I don't know if that surprises you, Gibby or Moose.
No.
We've talked about it with Tiger Strength, always having somebody run it, but I just that. And then we won a couple of the relays as well. We had some guys running distance. D-Rock throwing discus. I was told I think Cole Stevens was out, but he'll be back. But just some speed, but not to be outdone. The girls said we're not going to be outdone. The boys did win the team here, if I had it right. But here's, if you know anything about the girls, 100, Miley Covey, 13.13, followed by, in 6th was Shannon McLean, and then 7th was Etta Carlson. So really good there for the Tigers, right? You jump over to the 400 meters there. Miley Covey, 59.19, close race there. Allie Harold was in 5th. Alex Wold was in 6th. So, Alex Wold's a girl that I didn't know was that fast in the 400. So that's great. She ran a 6. She's our post kind of in basketball, right? But that's good. And then you jump over for the trifecta in the 200. Miley Covey with a 26.57. Again, won that too. Etta was 8th. Allie Harold was 9th. So, again, really good showing there for the girls in the 100, 200, and 400. They did, I believe, if I remember right, I thought one of the relays they won, I thought it was maybe the 4x100. Sorry, I'm just clicking through here. Second in the 4x1. So, it's exciting to see, again, track. You had the indoor stuff to start. Now you get in the outdoors, and you're starting to see our track team do well. So it's fun to watch. I'm kind of excited to, see where we're at, see what we can do, because it's always fun. I don't know. I just like talking track. It's fun.
No, it's awesome.
Track is
lots of talent in lots of different areas too. So
we always have speed. Our boy, think of how many years our boys teams have produced speed. You know, and that's
killer, man. It's
even
killer. I just gotta keep going.
I get to go back to Cooper's grade because I am following. If you follow him on TikTok, Jacob Parent running for Bethel.
Yeah,
I mean he's one of the fastest 200 kids in Division III.
Yeah, and then I think I checked lacrosse. I believe Tuberville's still running down there. I just don't know for sure. I haven't seen it. I know last year he did, but I'm with you. I mean, we got speedsters running, but just I always go back to just the fact that when Tuberville and Trandall left, right? Like, who's the guy? And then Tragan Tim stepped up. Well, we got Tragan this year, and then you already got Ben Hepner coming. And there's a couple of these guys running mid 24s. I don't even know. So, in the 200, and a couple other guys, I haven't heard their names that well. So it'll be just fun to watch, right? Because, we're going to lose Hepner, Joe Hepner and Tragan Tim this year, but we definitely got guys that are fast. And it's going to help, right? Ben Yeski was running. I can't remember what he was running. I believe he's pretty fast too. So,
but we talk about, I mean, like you guys mentioned, our speed and strength, right? And you got to give credit to them. And then what did you say? 3 of our 4 running backs you just mentioned their names somewhere in all that running. And we're never the biggest team, I feel like, going into these Big Rivers Conference games. But, boy, we got to be one of the fastest teams.
We're fast and we're tough.
Yeah, and I think that's just, it's critical, right? And I think that's what you're seeing, and I think it's going to be fun to watch, right? We got guys that can do it. And it's just constantly replacing the next guy, right? And it's fun to watch. And I would agree. I think it's all about the strength and conditioning, everything that Sean Wassman and Reggie do, and but at the end of the day, it's all the athletes that play and buy into what they have, and all the coaches that help coach it. It's awesome.
And all the sports that we've been talking about all year, right?
All right, so it'll be fun to watch them. I know they're down at Lacrosse Logan on a big one here this Thursday, so it'll be fun to watch. Jumping over, don't got much on stats, but I do know that the soccer team has started, right, the girls' soccer team, and they're off to a 2-0 record. They beat Ashland and Somerset, so they're rolling in. I think they have Hudson on Thursday, so that'll kind of be the first 2 tests, right? Again, another senior-laden team there. I believe there's a couple younger kids again, too, but, Mariah Benedict, Sienna Gaspard. So, sorry. I was thinking somebody else. Mara Benedict, Sienna Gaspard, a few of those senior girls. So it'll be fun to watch. Again, and then you got boys golf. I haven't heard much about that. I don't know if you got much.
Yeah, Mac went out for boys golf, but they haven't done much, right? They're just waiting for the weather to turn.
Yeah, it hasn't been the nicest because obviously Gibby's, down in the warm weather. Surprise, right? How's the golf game?
It's okay. We went to a place called Eastwood, and it was a public course down here ran by the city of Fort Myers. Really, really nice. So if anyone's listening to this and you want a great course, and the price was right too. I mean, sometimes it's tough to find a golf course down here for under $100. That's decent, but this was good, and it was cheaper, and it was awesome course. Yeah, it was great.
Clint?
And they hit okay.
No, Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was thinking but Eastwood.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. And then the only other one, tennis. Again, we'll have to check. I don't think there's been too much there. I know they got a match this week, so we'll have to get a little bit more on the tennis and the boys golf. So just to kind of round it out. And then, the other exciting thing, all right, we had national championship for the basketball. That was a heck of a game. I'm still surprised Duke lost. I'm struggling with that. I cannot believe they lost, to be honest.
Right.
But
that was amazing.
That was crazy. But just for Florida to come back and, again, win, that was a fantastic game.
So back to Duke.
I knew I would get a rise out
of
of
my favorite team. I shared it with my buddies that, like my cousins and stuff, they always give me crap about Duke because he absolutely hates Duke. He said, I think I shared it with Scribner too, I can't remember, but Duke this year was a team that you wanted to hate, but you couldn't because they were just the good. They were just out playing basketball. It wasn't the Christian Leitner. It was Cooper Flagg and Con Canuba.
Yeah, I think it's
right.
What's that?
Is it
Con Canuba?
Con Kneppel. Yep. Kneppel. Yep.
Kneppel.
Yeah, and he's got 3 more brothers, right? Or 4. I can't remember. 3 more brothers. He's got a sophomore, a freshman, and then I think a 7th or 8th grader.
All good basketball players?
Yep. So, be fun to watch.
Yeah.
And now you got the NBA. Got to watch T-Wolves, the Bucks. Both teams made it. Both in. They don't have to worry about the
They still
playing
have a league?
stuff. Yeah, they do. They do. I know. But you just got to bring it up. But hey, we're getting done with the draft. I mean, sorry, not the draft. That's where I'm going next year. You got Gibby down there. He's loving life. But I believe Gibby and I both will be in a week and a half. We'll be sitting in Green Bay for the NFL draft in God's country, where football is meant to be played. Football is it's football. And now they finally brought the draft to the godfather of all the stadiums, right, Gibby?
Yep. We will be there. I'm excited. We're going to try to shoot a cast, too.
Yep. So we'll get a little bit more on that. And again, I just working out the Coach Cran. We'll get him on here in a couple, hopefully next week or maybe even later this week. And then we'll get the powerlifting season wrapped up. So again, we're back at it. Spring sports are in full gear here, man. Everybody's playing. I know baseball's got 2 games this week. Softball's got 2. So we're back running. Weather's kind of crappy today, but I think it's going to be good the rest of the week. So it should be fun. And then finally, Gibby comes back. So maybe we'll have him in person.
What?
Well,
You probably got some roofing convention or something
Yeah.
he's got to go to in Florida.
Well, those are all done.
Okay.
Oh.
The crazy season for working, kind of doing that is done. So
Did he say working?
I know he did.
That got working.
Working. Nothing. He had nothing. All right, maybe Darth, maybe that's a better thing for Darth Gibby. But again, back at it, everybody. It's fun having it. It's good to see. We'll get Gibby back here in the studio. We got Troy Coran. We're still trying a couple other guests we're working on.
yeah,
And then we got
some in the pipeline. I'm excited for them.
Yeah. All right, Moose.
Work.
What? What'd you say?
Doesn't want to say it now.
Yeah.
Good work.
Good work. Oh, yeah. All right, well, I'm Scrib
And I'm Gib.
from Florida, and we got Moose on the loose.
On the loose.